All right, let's talk about the restaurant stocks, see what's going on there. Let's bring up some of the major players. Restaurants, we're talking about Mickey D's. That's down just slightly in today's trade, down 14 cents. And Starbucks just going into negative territory for a decline of about 2 cents at $15.15 a share. Well, call it a coffee clash. McDonald's, Starbucks, and Dunkin' Donuts are battling to sell you a cup of joe. What and who is winning? Well, let's ask the restaurant analyst at one of the country's leading equity research firms for the consumer sector, Tom Forte of the Tesley Advisory Group. Tom, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's great to have you here. So who has the biggest perception challenge? I think, is it Starbucks who's trying to convince customers that their coffee is actually more affordable in this tough environment? Or is it McDonald's and Dunkin', that crowd who, they're known for value, but they kind of have to convince everybody that they can make a cup of coffee, a really good cup of coffee that rivals everybody else?
I would say when you think about today's environment with the economy having problems, that Starbucks probably has a greater perception to overcome. They've talked about this misperception that they sell a $4 cup of coffee. Half their sales and beverages are $3 or less. A third is $2 or less. So I think they really need to overcome that while at the same time protecting their premium brand image.
Right.
So they don't want to do anything that suggests that they sell cheap coffee by any means.
Can they do that?
Well, I think when I think about Starbucks' strength, it's the quality of the experience. So long as the barista does a good job, you'll have a better experience drinking coffee at Starbucks than you will at McDonald's or at Dunkin' Donuts. Though McDonald's is upgrading some of their stores. They have better seating now.
And what about
LCD TVs.
McCafes?
So for McCafes for McDonald's, it's about going after the beverage business, becoming a destination. So coffee is the starting point, but the idea is first coffee, then smoothies, then bottled beverages. So McDonald's is definitely leading with coffee, but the intent is really to go after beverages.
All right, what about Dunkin' Donuts and all of this?
For Dunkin' Donuts...
Because it's kind of like drive-by.
Well, Dunkin' Donuts
that way.
is someone who's been doing coffee well for an extended period of time. So they're definitely taking advantage of a consumer who's looking for a lower price point on coffee. But I do think McDonald's entrance with McCafe will also take away some of their sales.
What about on the food side of it? Starbucks is really trying to compete with McDonald's on the breakfast side. Can they do it well?
Well, Starbucks keeps trying, and they keep trying different food items. I think the taste of their breakfast sandwiches is good, but I don't think they've really caught on to something where they're going to drive someone to their store based on the quality of their food.
All right, but could it be potentially a big volume item for them, or not necessarily?
It could be, but I would say for Starbucks, it's still about getting the coffee right and getting that consumer to come back in the afternoon, that more discretionary cup of coffee when we come out of the recession. All
right, now, Tom, in this environment, it's all about, margins and maintaining your margins. People don't want to pay a lot for anything. So who is kind of winning the price wars?
Well, in that regard, McDonald's is best situated because they have an opportunity to get you to come in for the coffee, add an Egg McMuffin or some of those other items. Starbucks is trying to do that with the pairings where they give you a lower price point if you have coffee and a food item, but that's really Starbucks, really a strong area for McDonald's.
All right, interesting. I hear you talk more about McDonald's and Starbucks. Are those the two that you think are the best positioned, or not necessarily?
Well, when you think of McDonald's entering into any category, they're very well positioned given their brand, the large amount of advertising dollars they're going to put at it,
right.
And then they're also very good in execution. And I think they're hitting Starbucks at a time right now when Starbucks is weak, given that they're trying to right-size their store base and offer consumers still a compelling reason to come in for Starbucks.
All right, we're hitting summer. Yay, finally. But, you got a lot of people out there traveling, or we should assume that we should because it's the summer season. Who's going to kind of win maybe by picking up travelers on the road?
I think that goes to McDonald's because they can sell you the iced tea. They can sell you some of the other beverages as well. So they're well positioned for the summer.
All right, betting man, 5 seconds. Who's going to win the coffee wars?
McDonald's.
McDonald's, got it. All right, Tom, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tom Forte, everybody, at the Tesley Advisory Group.